Good morning to you. You live in a shoe. Look how dark it is. It's like so dark for me right now. You can't even see me because I have the windows open and I'm spinning around. Look at all the babies in the world. How are you doing, Pee-Pee? People always want to know how you are. He said, I'm doing very, very good today. So anyway, I'm cleaning up. It is, right now, let's see. It is, let's see what time the TV is. Exactly 5 o'clock. And I'm putting my plant back over here. I just finished filming my videos. And I got everything done really early today. I went into my office and I wrote for a while. And look, I got these new postcards, or note cards for my book. Because I'm rewriting my note cards and rearranging them. But not tonight. Because tonight, boys and girls, it's tax night. And I'm not excited about it. Not one bit. I have to go through all of my receipts. I'm getting ready to kind of start doing that. Oh, I just put Alex's camera up here. Oh, now it's falling out. I don't know where we're going to put that. Anyway. Just pulled out all of my receipts from last year. That'll be real fun. Can't wait. Then I have to go through and figure out everything. I have already today got a venti iced coffee. Wrote, oh my God, look you guys. My sweet Audrina came in the mail, and I think somebody told me in the comment section that you guys, I know like this painting drives everybody crazy because it's crooked, but I've taken it off there and it's like how the wall is. I don't know how to explain it, but like we either have no picture there or it's crooked because you can't rehang it. And the painting, although it doesn't look this way, is extremely heavy. Tucker's ears are so funny when I tap. So anyway, somebody had mentioned that there is a movie of My Sweet Audrina. Come on, bud. You want to say hi to everybody? Say hi to everybody. He said, oh, hi, everybody. Hello, Pee-Pee. Look at little Pee-Pee's tongue. Can you see your tongue? What do you want, bud? Come up on my lap. These dogs, it has been like an absolute zoo in here today. Do you see this? I have all 3 dogs in my lap right now. I love, okay, like this cracks me up. Like, let me see if I can show this the appropriate way. Boo Radley looks like he has a little part in his hair right here. Do you see? And then look at Pee-Pee. It always looks like he just went to the barber shop and got, come here, honey, and got his little hair trimmed. Look at that. Oh, and then look at this one right here. He said, well, I'm going to go get my nails done at the pedicure shop. Little cow. Don't you think he looks like a little cow? Oh, hi. He said, who are those people? Tucker. Beep. Look at that ear. Isn't that so cute? So anyway, that's going to be the real deal tonight. Is the taxes. And I just put on this movie called like Snatched or something. It's with Amy Schumer and what's her face? Oh, God, I love her. Goldie Hawn. But, oh, my sweet Audrina. Somebody commented on this in the comment section below. Boo Radley is constantly licking a Tucker or Pee-Pee. Aren't you, bud? And then me. So I looked it up, and there actually is a movie, a My Sweet Audrina movie. Isn't it great that dogs, they don't care how you look. They don't care. They love you all the same. But there's a My Sweet Audrina movie. But you have to buy it because it's like on demand. So I may, when I finish the book, poet J.D. McClatchy dies at 72. Respected poet, educator, editor, and translator died Tuesday night at 70. Oh, I don't know who that is, but it's sad. Saturday's forecast, 67 degrees and thunderstorms. Look at the pretty flower on the TV. What a pretty flower. Anyway, I am going to watch the movie after I read the book and see what I think. So I may host like a movie-a-thon too. But the thing is like, I know people didn't want to buy the book, so I'm sure people don't want to like download the movie for $6.99 or whatever, right? Boo Radley said, well, do you have a Fire Stick? Does your Fire Stick work? Because ours sure doesn't. Our Fire Stick doesn't work. He said, illegal bullshit. You shouldn't have that stuff anyway, Dad. Whenever we would have that Fire Stick, Alex would be like, let's pick a movie. And then we would just sit there. We would just sit there and I would be like, okay, when's it coming on? And he'd be like, oh, what was the one I really wanted to see? This was about the last time that we actually... This is the last time in my life, his dogs. This is the last time that we actually used the Fire Stick. What's the movie with the girl from Gossip Girl and she's like on that rock and she can't get away from the shark? I wanted to see that movie so bad. And what's her name? I can't ever think of her name. She's married to Ryan, I can't think of, I'm like losing my mind. But anyway, In the Deep or something. I don't know. But anyway, y'all know. You guys are shouting it right now, I know. Aren't they like the most glamorous couple in the entire world? Alex would be so pissed if he was here right now. He'd be like, I can't believe it. He loves her. She's like his favorite actress. Because he loves everything about Gossip Girl. But anyway, I wanted to see that movie. And one night I was like, come on. Like, when is the movie coming on? He's like, I'm trying to find one that's like good. And it's like, anyway. So we got rid of all that now. Now we just... Tanya, still to this day... Boo Radley, honey, I'm trying to film, see? But Tucker's like listening to every word I say. Aren't you, Tucker? He's all sure. Tanya to this day still rents so many movies from the Red Box. She'll be like, she'll say, I miss Blockbuster. I'm like, I miss Blockbuster too. She's like, I miss like walking around and like seeing the movies and like being able to pick my movie. So she'll make me go to the Red Box and she'll stand there forever trying to pick like what movies she wants from the Red Box. I'm like, Tanya, why are you taking so long? Come on. She's like, well, I don't know. I might want this movie. I might not want this movie. And then she always has to get like one kid's movie, a musical, a scary movie, not a scary movie, but like a thriller, you know, and then like something that she read that they made into like a horrible adaptation. Yeah, well, what is it? Huh? Do that again. Watch this. This is Tucker when he like wants me to scratch. No, watch this. What? What? Scratch me. Scratch me. Oh. Oh, yes. You love your daddy. You do, don't you? Oh, my good boys. The TV. Oh, it's called Snatched. A woman and her mother become the target of kidnappers. You are right over there now, aren't you, bud? A woman and her mother become the target of kidnappers while on vacation in South America. Have you guys seen this movie? I have never even seen this movie, but it looks cute. And the shirt that she has on in it, the Ola shirt, I have that shirt. That Goldie Hawn has that. So anyway. Do you ever just feel like dancing around in your house? Boogie, boogie. Okay, well, I think I'm going to get off here, and I will be back in a little bit. Bye. Okay, so this is why I don't like going to the Meijer or to Target. I don't, like, overshop, really, but, like, I go in for one thing. I could have bought books. There was this Dean Koontz book that I wanted, because I never read him, and I always think it's fun. It's, like, 65. I'm, like, wanting to sit outside and read, because I love to sit outside and read. But I could have bought that. I could have bought a doormat. I'm trying to think of what other things I looked at. I saw a mug that I liked. I saw candles that I liked. And I just have to be like, okay, you do not need all this stuff. So I literally went in for one stick of deodorant. And I ended up buying two. Because this Old Spice Original High Endurance Antiperspirant, I have to have one that's antiperspirant and deodorant, is what I wear. It smells like the classic Old Spice. But I used to wear the Old Spice Pure Sport, which I love. So I was like, I don't know which one I like better. So I bought them both. And then I forgot that I needed, what do you call it? Like dust remover or like spray dust or whatever. And the guy that used to clean our house used to use this. He got me switch this Pledge because it like doesn't leave stuff like what do you call it, like shiny, you know what I mean, like a lot of like dust offs like leave your stuff like really shiny. And this one is multi-surface, granite, metal, wood, glass, electronics, Pledge, multi-service. I totally swear by this stuff. I got the apple cinnamon because I smelled all the other smells. They have like Tahitian smell and stuff like that. But this was the one that I like the most because of course I like, you know, like fall scents and things like that. And even though I like fall scents, hold on a second. So I told you I wasn't going to buy any candle waxes. I cannot go around those candle waxes, and I really, really hate the Yankee candle waxes because I don't feel like they really smell that great. And like for this, like you get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, you get 6 of these for $3.99. I think it's so expensive, but they have their spring scents out, and this one is Sweet Pea, Simply Sweet Pea. Oh my God, it smells so good. It smells like so fresh and clean. So I got this, and then I also got Seashore Breeze. I used to have a candle back in the day. Ooh, I used to have a candle back in the day, and I think it was Yankee, and it was called like Beach or Ocean or something. And this before I opened it, I was like, if this smells like that candle, which I don't know what it was called, I'm getting it. And it did, so I was like, oh yes. Oh, it smells so good. So I got these two. Seashore Breeze and Simply Sweet Pea. So you can go get them, and then your house will smell just like mine. And then like last night I threw away my old Yankee candle thing so it smells good in my car, because I'm real weird about keeping my car clean and the car smelling good. And but I didn't have any new ones. So I used to use, in the wintertime, in the fall, I always use like pumpkin spices or apple, but I got the Febreze Gain one. Because you guys know I love anything that is Febreze, and so there you go. To activate scent, simply, okay, and then you put it in there, and there. Now I've activated scent. So anyway, let's put the air conditioning on and see what it smells like. Man, this place is, oh, I can smell it right away. That smells so good. So I got two, they came with a set of 2. I'm gonna put the other one in my glove compartment. Oh my God, I can smell it. It smells so good. But that's like a different kind of Gain. I wondered if it was because it was purple, not green. It Moonlight Breeze. Well, it still smells really good. Kind of smells a little plumish. So yeah, those are the purchases of the day that I bought. And now I'm gonna go get something to eat. I'm trying to decide if I want to get, Panda Express is right behind me, and I've been craving Chinese food forever. So I don't know if they have like vegetarian food. So many people have asked me, so I'm going to do a whole video on this, but so many people have asked me to do the 16 personalities test. Do you guys know what that is? So I actually took it earlier. So I'm going to do a whole video about that because I've gotten so many requests for that video. It's interesting. Just like all of a sudden people, I guess I was talking about like the Myers-Briggs, and then all of a sudden it popped up. I don't think Panda Express has vegetarian options, do they? Chicken egg roll, full menu, let's see. Veggie spring rolls, okay. Beer bowl. All I really want is fried rice. Fried rice is prepared with steamed white rice that is tossed in the wok with soy sauce, sweet corn, green peas, carrots, and chopped green beans, starting at $3. But then like Noodles and Company sounds so good today too. I've now lost like 9.2 pounds. I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's that I've been more active lately or what. Do I want Noodles and Company, or do I want Panda Express? Well, the other day I drove all the way to Mark Pie's, like 20 minutes north of me, because I love their fried rice, and then I got there and they were closed on Mondays. I was not happy about it. Well, maybe I'll let it be a surprise, and then I'll show you when I get home. Okay, I'll see you in a little bit. Okay, so I am putting my stuff away. And I just fed the dogs and took them out. Alex is on his way home. And you might be saying to yourself, you seem like you're kind of putting something off. Yeah. I'm putting off having to do my taxes because I don't want to do my taxes. Oh well. We'll get to it sooner enough. You guys want to know what I have for dinner? Okay. Well, I asked Alex if he was hungry, and he said not really, but that he might eat whatever was left over of mine. So then I always get two. I get the pesto cavatappi, and then I save like half of it for Alex. And then, oh, they put so much sour cream on here today, good. And then I get, so this is how the Chipotle, it comes with like sour cream, and then it comes with, I hate that they put like parsley on it, but a lime. And then you squirt the lime over it. You put the lime in the coconut. Mix it all up. And then you mix all of this together. But I don't eat it with a plastic fork because the plastic fork doesn't hold up real well. I'll probably save most of this for Alex because this is what he likes. If he goes to Noodles and Company, he always gets the stroganoff, the steak stroganoff. And I asked him if he wanted me to get him one, and he said no. He goes, I'll just eat whatever you're not gonna. I start eating it, and then I don't get hungry. Like recently, my appetite has not been as big as it usually is. So this is what it looks like after you mix it all up. And I got a root beer. And this is the pesto cavatappi. And it's my favorite. And I'm going to start watching that movie that I was watching. So I will be back in just a little bit. Bye. Hello. What a long evening it's been. Well, right after I stopped filming, I ate my dinner. And Alex came home like right after that. He got his car washed and then he came home. And I was watching that movie, but I didn't get to really watch much of it because we sat down there and we talked forever about just work stuff and the tax stuff. And then I just kept on putting it off forever. I laid down for like an hour and then I got up and Tanya had texted me. So I was like, do you want to go get a fountain pop? She was like, yeah, sure. So, we went and got a fountain pop and drove around and talked. And then I came back home and I was like, just, you know, cleaning this up and cleaning that up and just procrastinating. So finally I just sat down. I was like, okay, get this tax stuff done. So I sat down and I started working on it at like 12:15 and it is 3:09 and I just finished. And I still don't feel like it's complete, but I'm like, it's complete enough. Like I'll just go into the accountant tomorrow and he can help me with the rest of it. And so yeah. So that has been my glorious evening. And Alex was watching some show and he was like, do you care if I have the TV on while you're doing it? I was like, no, not at all. And he was watching some show. I go, what is this? It was like some Marvel show. Oh my God. The weird thing is, I usually get like all real panicky about my taxes. And this year I didn't. This year I just was like, I mean, it is what it is. You know, like there's not a whole lot I can do about it. And, I've been in business for myself now for, what, 10 years? So, I mean, I always owe, typically. And, the last 2 years were lower because, of, like, some of Alex's stuff gets taken out. So, and then we had filed together. But, yeah. I'm just ready to get it done. And go in and I guess we're kind of cutting it down to the wire. I guess tax day is like Tuesday or Wednesday of next week. So we always do wait till the last minute. I had this accountant years ago that told me, like, Alex used to always get his taxes done, like, right at the beginning of February. And my accountant said to me, like, at the time, I was like, well, Alex gets his taxes done so early. And he was like, yeah, but for you, it's different. He's like, because you're going to owe, so why, like, get it, just wait till the very end, you know? I guess there's two ways to look at that. You know, you want the pain up front or the pain later. But anyway, Alex had all the little dogs around him tonight. It was so cute. I am like so into this book right now that I'm listening to called Behind Her Eyes. It kind of reminds me a little bit of The Girl on the Train. It's about this woman, and, well, it goes back and forth from like two different points of view. It's this woman that, like, she's in a bar, and she, like, it takes place in England, and she kisses this guy after they've been drinking all night long, but she doesn't know he's married. And then he turns out to be, I'm not ruining anything for you, this literally all happens within like the first 5 minutes. He turns into being her new boss in this doctor's office. And then the other person from the other person's point of view is the guy's wife. But the characterization is just really interesting. I like reading character-driven books. I don't like reading, like, plot-driven books, unless they're, like, action, and I know that. I like really getting to know about characters and things like that. There are so many good books coming out this year. I am so excited. I am excited about Puddin', which is the sequel to Dumplin' by Julie Murphy. I'm excited about that Leah book that Adam Silvera and Becky Albertalli wrote together. Benjamin Lear Sines wrote the sequel to Aristotle and Dante Discover the Secrets of the Universe, and that comes out supposedly this summer. We'll see. I don't know. It doesn't even have a cover release on it. There's so many books that I'm excited about. I just found out that David Arnold wrote a book, and it's coming out. He wrote Mosquito Land, which was one of my favorite books. It's a road trip book. So yeah, I think last year, like this, like most anticipated releases thing is like a really big deal on BookTube. Like people always start talking about what are their most anticipated releases. Last year, my most anticipated releases were The Inexplicable Logic of My Life by Benjamin Lear Sines, and Turtles All the Way Down by John Green, and Oracle by Dan Brown. And I hated all three of them. I mean, I didn't hate them, but they were 3 stars across the board for me. Dan Brown's book was good because he just researches his book so well, but it wasn't like, I didn't feel like it was as good as his other ones. Actually, my favorite Dan Brown book is, I mean, I loved when I read, what's the very first one that he wrote? Well, it's not his very first one that he wrote, but it's the very first one that got famous. Oh, you know, they made it into a movie, Robert Langdon, and it's like in the Louvre, and why can't I think of that movie? Oh, anyway, but my favorite book of his is called, shoot, I can't think of it. The Symbol. So if you're looking for a Dan Brown book that's good, The Symbol is like probably my favorite. I wonder if the deer are out tonight, because it's so nice. It's 55 degrees right now. No deer. I am like so focused on writing right now. It's like interesting when I like get really into writing, and then I'm like really in my head all the time about writing and like what I'm writing. But one of my problems with my like process is that while I'm writing something, I'm constantly outlining like the next thing that I'm gonna write, because I get so excited about the writing process. that it kind of slows me down, and then that's what happens is I jump books, and then I'm like, well, maybe I should write that, maybe I should write this instead. But I'm sticking to the two things that I'm working on right now. My mom loves spring. She loved this kind of weather, and it was like she loved it more than summer. My mom's favorite things though in the summer, she loved to lay out by the pool, she loved to play tennis, she loved to take walks outside and collect wildflowers and put them in little vases around the house, which is why we always had bugs in the house. And it's so funny because I was thinking about, like, somebody said something to me today, like when you're walking in nature, do you dream a lot? And I'm like, I don't walk in nature very often. I guess I should, you know? I enjoy it. You know what's gonna sound so funny? And like, this is something that like I've really learned to love through the year, like the last couple years, is silence. Like a lot of times I drive around with like no book playing, no music playing, nothing. I just total silence, you know, with like the windows down. And one of the things I like about like walking in the woods, this is so crazy because like when I was a kid, I mean, I was like every day in the summer we played in the woods because my house backed up to the woods. And we had this huge long creek that ran behind our house and went for miles and miles and miles and miles. And we would like hunt for crawdad. I know this is hard to believe me, but like we would like build like forts and, you know, make crawdads and set up little villages. And we were out there from like 8 in the morning until like, if I wasn't playing tennis, 8 in the morning until like 6 in the evening, you know, just horrible mosquito bites all over us. You remember you used to X out like mosquito bites? Like you would like get them and then you would like go, like that. And, but I remember like when I love summer so much, and so I played tennis at a tennis camp, but I think I was usually done by like 12 because it was like in the morning, and then I would come home with my friends. I would this was like when I was like in elementary school. Maybe it was done before that. Maybe it was done by like 11. I can't remember. It was like 3 hours, and as I got older, it was longer. But I think we got out there at like 7 or 8 in the morning. Because I can remember it being like dew on the grass when we started playing. So maybe it was like 7:30, and we were done by like 10 or 10:30, 11, I don't remember. But I would play with my friends like in the woods, or we would play like, because I lived on a cul-de-sac, and all the kids in the neighborhood, like in the street, would come down and we would play like baseball games in the cul-de-sac. I mean, like real serious about their baseball, like our street was. And or we would play in the woods, or, you know, it was always just like this group of like 8 of us, and we'd just be like walking down the street to get ice cream, or, you know, and it was so much fun. It was just this pack of kids, you know, and we went everywhere together. And I can remember like you know, I had a couple friends in the neighborhood. I had like Katie and this girl Jessie that were 2 of my friends, and this kid Matt when I was younger. And I can remember like at lunchtime, like we would go in and we would eat at one of our houses. I don't know how we ever decided whose house we were going to eat at, but maybe that was something like the moms decided. But, you know, you'd have hot dogs and chips, or, you know, hamburgers, or, you know, bologna sandwiches, or whatever, you know. And then we would go back out and we would play till like 5 or 6 in the evening. And then like, I can remember, you know, like everybody's mom calling them in, and they would go eat. And my mom used to always have like, so like as like she got divorced, she had like 2 other friends that were also divorced, and they would come over a lot in the evenings and bring their kids and stuff. Like especially my mom's friend Vicky, she would bring her 2 daughters, and so like we would all hang out with the other kids in the neighborhood and stuff. And my mom's friend that from Colorado would bring her daughters in the summer, and, you know, we would just like hang out and watch movies and play outside in the neighborhood, kids and stuff. And I remember like eating dinner from like 5 to 6 or 6, I don't know when, but something like early, 6 to 7. You eat dinner as a family, and then you were like right back outside again. And I can just remember like sitting in the grass, or like sitting on like the street curb, like for hours while kids would play games, and we would like be like, okay, what should we do now? And it always reminds me of that scene from like To Kill a Mockingbird, when, if you've seen the movie, when they decide that they're gonna go and knock on, they're gonna go peep in like Boo Radley's window, and before Dill goes home after the summer's end. And like we would just sit there for hours and just like tell stories and talk. I can remember like all of us just sitting around there, there'd be like kids over here playing a game, and then like 4 or 5 of us would be in the grass just talking, telling ghost stories, or like figuring out what we were going to do next. Do you guys remember those nights? They're just fantastic, and your legs would you just swat at your legs constantly because they were eaten alive by mosquito bites, and you like catch lightning bugs, and it just was like a different time. It was like a time of innocence, honestly. And that was like for me from like 5 until like 13, I did that, like 8 years, like every summer that we did that, all of us. And, it's so weird I think about that. And then, like everybody's parents would call them in at like 9 or 10, and you'd take a bath and you put your little shorty pajamas on. I always had like the short pajamas that matched, the top and the bottom that buttoned up. They had those big, plastic buttons. I always had those pajamas in the summer, and take a bath and slick back my hair, and then I would my mom would let me come in and watch like a movie with her. And I remember like back in the day, like when people smoked in their houses, my mom would smoke in the house and she'd have the windows open, and I can remember laying on like the edge of her bed or the floor, and my mom would sit in this chair and she would smoke and have like a martini or something, and I can just remember laying there on the edge of her bed and the air like floating in over me, and she'd be like, come on, honey, it's time. And when the movie was over and then the, nightly news was on, she'd say, come on, honey, it's time to go to bed. And then I would go into my bed and she'd put me to bed, and I would usually like read for like a half an hour, and then she would come in after the evening news was over, like the local news, and we would listen to like those old time radio tapes. We always my mother was not a big believer in air conditioning when I was growing up. And, so we always had our, I think during the day we had the air conditioning on. I mean, and now we know this is such a bad energy saver, right? But we would have the air conditioning on during the day, but at night we would, have all the windows open. And since we were in the woods, it was really cold air that came through, and it was awesome. But you would wake up in the morning and just be drenched in sweat, because overnight, it had gotten warm again as it became morning, and that sun that came up. I feel like summers are so different now than summers used to be. Well, first of all, one of the things that makes me so sad for students and teachers is that summers are so short. I mean, we're almost down to year-round school, and a lot of townships are at, a year-round school. And the thing that's interesting to me is I see it from both sides. For a lot of parents, it makes more sense as far as they can't afford daycare and who's going to watch the kids with their jobs and things like that. I totally get it, But on the other hand, I think it's important for kids to have breaks. And, the educational value is, well, kids don't lose as much over the course of a summer when they're not. I mean, when I was in elementary school, we got out before June 1st. The Memorial Day weekend we were out before Memorial Day weekend, and we didn't go to school till after Labor Day started, always. So you got a solid 3 months of being out in the summer. And, then they'll say things like, well, students don't retain information well enough. Well, did my dad not? Because my dad's pretty smart. Did my mom not? Did my, all of the people that came before that went to school for, 9 months out of the year, they seem to do pretty good. And, it makes me so sad that kids don't get a really long summer anymore, And I think teachers deserve it too. It's statements like this sometimes that get me into trouble, but maybe teachers would care more about the kids if we cared more about the teachers. I've worked with so many teachers that are so burnt out, and honestly, like, you know, because I used to work a lot within school systems, and I would go in and educate and stuff about like choices and consequences and boundary setting and anti-bullying and stuff like that. And, you know, like, the older teachers were so focused on retiring, and a lot of them, because of the movement of like charter schools and things like that, were being offered early retirement. The younger teachers were coming in and they were so fresh and so green and so excited to teach, but then their burnout was like in 2 years. So these 25 and 30-year careers of teachers, you know, I would see teachers that had been there that I thought were fantastic, and then I would come back after 2 years and I'd be like, oh, well, what happened to, you know, Mrs. Smith? And they would say, oh, she left, she went to hair school. She just couldn't do teaching anymore. What? Like, that's crazy to me, you know? And, especially since it's a profession that you like really go to school to be trained and you do student teaching and all that kind of stuff. I don't know, like, I'm just not really happy with this whole direction that we're moving with charter schools, and now charter schools are owned by businesses, and I can speak to that to some degree because I was there at the beginning. Like, I sat on the boards and I was there for the beginning of the very first charter schools in Indiana, and I saw how they came in and they were, you know, optioned and, you know, things like that. And there's just a lot of crap that goes on behind the scenes. And in Indianapolis, we have some great charter schools. We really do, you know, but we also have a lot of crap charter schools. And then I think, like, to some degree, it's like, then teachers then parents feel like, okay, so like in Indianapolis, any school within the Indianapolis city limits is called Indianapolis Public School System, right? Well, IPS notoriously has a bad reputation, which is so sad because they didn't used to. Like, my mom went to all IPS schools, and they're called like IPS 21, IPS 92, IPS 91, IPS, you know, 46, and then they had like, you know, 10 high schools. Well, they've closed all of these high schools, and they've turned them into like the Center for Creative Living. You know what I mean? Like, it's just like all these BS charter schools that are owned by corporations now. And then there's like maybe within IPS like 3 really good elementary schools and one junior high that every parent in IPS wants their kid in. Well, not every parent can afford to send your kid to a private school, you know? And my dad was against me going to a private school anyway. My mom really wanted me to go to a private school. And my dad was like, we both went to private schools and we were completely fine. There is no reason for Peter to go to a private school. I always kind of wonder, though, looking back, like, what would have happened to me. And I grew up in the suburbs, so my school situation is completely different. I didn't go to IPS schools. I went to a different school system. And so, like, the suburbs surrounding Indianapolis, and I'm sure this is no different than a lot of cities, the suburbs surrounding Indianapolis have good school systems. But it's almost like this forcing of parents to move to the suburbs, or your kids aren't going to get good, you know, school, good, you know, education. And it's really sad to me. And in Indianapolis, some of our best teachers are in Indianapolis, in IPS school district. And, some of the teachers that have been around forever, you know, the hardest, I mean, I know a lot of them, and it's just like, they feel like they've been given up on. But I feel like those summer days and summer nights, to some degree, formed me into who I am now, you know? Just like wandering the streets, and I can remember, like, I mean, I grew up in a very protected, charmed environment, you know, like, I can remember us, like, walking down the street, you know, 5 or 6 of us, you know, at, you know, 8 o'clock at night, and we'd stop at, you know, the Joneses' house and sit in their front yard and, you know, be like, oh, is Johnny here? And that she'd be like, Mrs. Jones would be like, yeah, I'm making up these names, obviously. Let me send him out, and then she'd send him out, and then we'd sit there and talk to Johnny for a second. Hey, you want to go down to see if so-and-so's doing anything? And we walk down 2 houses down, sit in their yard and talk, and, you know, maybe the mom would bring us out ice cream or something. Like, we'd make plans for what we were going to do that weekend. Oh my God, did you see that tree down there, the bend in the creek? We should, you know, turn that into a fort, and oh my God, and let's do this and let's do that. And, you know, And every summer they always had we always had the state fair in Indiana, which is really huge. It's at the end of August. That's like one of the things that really makes me the saddest, is that back in the day, the state fair starts on like August 17th or 18th, and it goes to the end of August. And so you knew when the state fair was over, school was about to start. And all of the kids that came from like these country towns, you know, that would raise like steer and, you know, sheep and things like that, and they would show at, like, because of 4-H, they would show at the state fair. Well, you don't see that now at the state fair. Because why? Because kids are back in school already. So they can't take a week off from school to show at 4-H. And so 4-H is really becoming like this lost art, you know? And if you're from out of the country and you don't know what 4-H is, I don't know what 4-H stands for, but it's like this agriculture, and like, it's kids that like show like art crafts, and they raise animals and they show animals, and it's just this, you know, I don't know, it's a lot of farm kids. But I love the state fair. We would always have the carnival behind the Target mall back in the day, and we would go and play games and ride those rides. We would walk, our parents would let us walk up there. We would get win those mirrors that said like Judas Priest on them. I never knew till years later when somebody had those in one of their houses that those were like to cut up drugs on. And I always wanted the roach clips with the feathers, and I sure as shit didn't know that those were for. I used had all those in my bedroom. God. And you know, I'm talking about the old roach clips that people would hang on their windshield wipers. My babysitters always had them. That should have been a sign they were all pot smokers. Well, all of them but one. Anyway, it's Edie Mae Garman that I had as a babysitter. She was awesome. They always had I was Teresa babysitter. I remember she had like 5 of them hanging on her. I always thought they were so pretty. I wanted them so bad. So those were the things that I would win. Here's this 8-year-old kid trying to win a roach clip at a carnival at Target, the Target shopping mall. There's my summers for you. Listening to like the Rumors album when I got home and spinning with those things clipped in my hair like I thought I was Stevie Nicks. That's a true story right there. I mean, like, that is the truth, you guys. Like, that was my upbringing. Those are the kind of stories you're going to read about in my book. You can't write, I mean, you can't make that shit up. It's the truth, you know? I miss those days. You know, of funnel cakes and elephant ears and cheese on a stick. Slurpees in the summer that are melted before you even get home, and gosh. And summer can be that. Like, this is one of the things I realized a while ago. Tanya and I were talking about this a couple years ago, was like, when, like, it would have been when her son Nick left for college. This has been a long time now, because he's like 25. So when he left for college at 18, he went to college for 2 years, then he ended up going into the military, into the Marines. But when you don't have kids anymore, and I wasn't, like, when I stopped working in a treatment facility, like, and you're not, like, around, like, this, because we had a school there, so, like, we were on like a school schedule. You always knew what the school schedule was. You always knew when school started and ended, right? But when your kids are gone, and like you don't have, especially like if they're out of college and you don't have that anymore, and like you don't really have friends that have that anymore because your kids' friends are gone, like, you know, I mean, right now I have like my friend Erin, like her, you know, son and daughter both are still in school. But other than that, like I don't really know anybody that has kids that are in school. A couple people, but like, you know, in recovery, but other than that. But anyway, you don't think of summer being like June 1st to like September 1st. Do you know what I mean? Like, you don't think of it that way anymore. Like, summer goes when it gets warm, and it goes till it gets cold. So summer could really be like the first week of May for an adult, all the way to like the end of September, the beginning of October, truly. So we now get longer summers. This summer, I might just walk around my neighborhood and sit in people's yards and eat Slurpees and ask them if they want to come out and talk and all that good stuff. I miss hot dogs too. I'm going to have to go to the grocery store and get a bunch of that meat supplement stuff, like that Boca Burgers and all that kind of stuff, because I'm craving that kind of stuff lately. I don't know why. those Boca burgers and those kind of like veggie burgers and things and veggie chicken patties, they're all expensive as hell. Veggie chicken patties and veggie hot dogs and corn dogs and stuff, they're really good. They're expensive as hell though, but they're good. I mean, if you grocery shop as a vegetarian, it's expensive. But they taste perfectly fine. They're really good. Actually, those Morningstar, the Morningstar is one of my favorite brands. They used to have these quarter pounder burgers that were really good. I don't think they make them anymore. But those corn dogs by Morningstar are, they are delicious. I used to get, my camera must have turned off. I used to get that, those Morningstar sausage patties too for breakfast in the morning, and I would eat a bowl of cereal. This is when I was like super healthy. I would eat a bowl of cereal, and then I would have like 2 of those sausage things, but they're like $5 for like a box of them, and I was like, this is crazy, I'm spending this much money on it. That was when I was a vegetarian before. I mean, I ate so healthy. My entire freezer was stocked with that Morningstar and Boca Burger stuff. The thing that's really cool now is that there's so many out there that you can try, you know? Maybe that's what I'll do this week. Maybe after I do my tax stuff tomorrow, I will go and buy, like, go look like at Whole Foods and then like Trader Joe's. I don't love Trader Joe's. Do y'all love Trader Joe's? I feel like it's really expensive. I feel here it is, okay? I feel like Trader Joe's is the most expensive, then Whole Foods, but it's a close tie. Whole Foods is so expensive. But that Fresh Time that I go to, you guys, like, it is really, really not that expensive. It's pretty good. That yellow light just came on. I cannot believe it. It's because I turned it off and turned it back on right away. But maybe I will go and buy some different kinds of stuff and then show it to you guys and show you guys the vegetarian stuff that I like. There's all kinds of stuff now that you can get. I really want to find a recipe for vegetarian biscuits and gravy. Alex has this friend and she's vegan. She dates his friend Jason. She just actually moved here, and she dates his friend Jason, and she's vegan, and she is like supposedly the most incredible cook in the entire world. And Alex went over there for dinner one night, and she made like this entire like Chinese, entree meal, and she had like crab meat rangoons that were vegan. I want those. I told Alex, I said, bring me one. He was like, we didn't have enough left. I was like, oh my God, I want those. It sounds so good. All right, this camera, I'm not going to just wait for it to shut off. I'm going to shut it off for a second, let the camera cool down, and then I'll be back for like my last 5 or 10 minutes. Because I don't know how long I've been talking now, but I think if I add it all up together, add it up. Do you guys like the Violent Femmes? Oh, I love the Violent Femmes back in the day. So I'm gonna let it cool down for 2 or 3 minutes, and then I'll be back on here. Okay, so I was thinking while I was waiting for the camera to cool down about like all of these summer things that I remember from back in the day. If you guys have watched my channels for a while, you might remember that like one of my favorite books, I actually have it in my office. It's like on the stand when you walk in. It's called Summer, and it's one of those Cat in the Hat books. And like it starts and it's like, I love the things that summer brings. It brings, do you guys ever read that book? Oh my God, it's one of my favorite books ever. I used to give it to people as gifts, and then they thought I was crazy. But anyway, it's about this like boy and girl, and they have like this dog, and the dog is called the pup, and then they like go all over, and they go fishing, and they play in like the water hoses, which I used to do. We used to make those slip and slide things out of like trash bags in the front yard, and my mom would get so mad because she would say that we were ruining the grass. And then she would bring out those popsicles, the real cheap ones that come in like the long things. I used to love those. And juice in the summer were those little like barrel drinks that had like the metal on the top of them that you would peel back. I miss all of that. So I think what I'm gonna do is like I'm gonna make a list of like all of these things I remember from like those like popsicles to the barrel drinks to like water slides to all of it. And every day this year I'm gonna pull like one out, and I'm gonna do that this summer, because this Christmas, over the Christmas holiday, if you guys remember, I like wrote down all of my favorite Christmas movies and I watched almost all of them. I was so excited. I just found my book the other day and I was like, oh my God, I've like checked off almost all these movies. And I did all the Christmas stuff that I wanted to do. I was so excited. And my Christmas holiday just felt so full this year. I'm going to do that again next Christmas. But I'm going to add some other things on there that I want to do. But I'm going to do that for the summer. A couple years ago, Alex and I had this like jar in the kitchen and we wrote down like all these fun dates that you could only do in the summer. Like have a picnic, go putt-putt golfing, go see movies outside. One of the things I always want to do in the summer is, we talk about it every summer, we never do it. A, go to the drive-in, and B, the art museum here in Indianapolis shows these movies on this huge screen, and it's very, very cool, and people bring like huge like picnic dinners and stuff. I think they used to. I don't think they're allowed to anymore, but we did it a couple times when I was a little kid and I loved it. And you sit on the grass and you watch like Jaws outside on this like huge screen. It's very cool. And it's all like old movies, like Jaws, Close Encounters of a Third Kind. Every year they do like a theme, and like one year it was like Oscar winners, and like a couple years ago they did like 80s or like 90s movies, and they did like Adventures in Babysitting and like Don't Tell Mom the Babysitter's Dead and all that kind of stuff. House Party. But I think that would be really fun to do. And so if we like make a jar of like different summer dates that we want to do, I think that would be really fun, because we did that a couple years ago and it worked out well. We didn't do as many as we wanted to, but we did enough. I also want to sleep outside one night this year, although I'll be very, very scared to do it. I might make Alex or Tanya. Alex probably won't do that with me, but Tanya might. And I used to do that as a kid. My mom and I used to take like sleeping bags and blankets out, and we would like sleep. I had this like brick front porch, and we would sleep out there because you couldn't really see us. And I remember how much fun that was. But you would get eaten alive by mosquito bites too. But we would tell like ghost stories until late at night. We would do it like when I had a friend over. Kind of like sleeping in a tent in the backyard, but not, you know. Anyway, I miss those days. So much fun. You know, I think that one of the things that changes, like, as you get older, like, and I mean from, like, being, like, 10 to being, like, 40, is that, like, when you're 10, you'll do stuff and you don't really care, you know, like how stupid it looks, like sleeping in a tent in the backyard, or, you know, washing your hair in the rain. My mom and I used to do that all the time. But, like, and she was somebody that really didn't care, you know? But like, as you get older, you start kind of caring about that stuff. Like, is it corny? Is it stupid? I was talking about that on my BookTube channel because I'm just going to let this truck pass me by. This truck is like barreling behind me like that movie. What was that movie called? Joyride. Look at this. I'm not even on a highway. I'm like on a 2-lane road. And scary movies in the summer, with movie popcorn, with movie butter popcorn, that is the best. Or caramel corn. I love caramel corn too. And kettle corn. I love kettle corn so much. But oh shoot, what was I gonna say? Now I totally forgot. I can't believe I just like that quick forgot what I was gonna say. It doesn't matter. But I think, like, as you get older, like, I know I was going to talk about the BookTube-a-thon thing, because I just told this story on my BookTube video the other day. So if you watch my BookTube videos, you'll have heard this story before, probably 10 times. A couple of years ago, so I'm coming up on my 2 years on BookTube, May 11th, and a couple of years ago, I did my very first readathon on BookTube, and it was BookTube-a-thon. And BookTube-a-thon is an annual readathon that's put on by Ariel Bissett, and it's 7 days long, and it starts at like 11:59 p.m. going into midnight on like that Sunday, and it goes for like a week. And there's Twitter sprints where they'll be like, read for 30 minutes, and then, you know, like recreate your title of the book that you're reading, but only with emojis. It's real fun stuff. But, you know, I mean, probably more if you were 17 or 15, you know? And there's 7 challenges every year, and like the challenges differ every year, and they can be like, you know, read a book with a yellow cover, you know, read a classic, read, you know, whatever. They're different every year. And read a book that, you know, read a reread, something like that. You know, read a book that you've never read before, you know, whatever. But the first year I just picked random books. The first year I picked all books that had been adapted into movies because I wanted to watch the movies too. And I read like 3 out of the 7 books, like 3.5 out of the 7 books I finished. That was the year I read Jaws. That was the year I read Brokeback Mountain. What else did I read that year? Oh God, the one that's like Fault in Our Stars, but it was so bad. About the girl that has cancer and the 2 friends. Why can't I think of that? It's yellow, the cover. Because that was one of them, was pick a book with a yellow cover, and I picked that one. But anyway, and then last year, I just picked all different kind of random books. And I think I finished like 4 books last year. And then there's all kinds of daily challenges too, like different videos to make, different pictures to do on Bookstagram, things like that. Well, I had so looked forward to doing a big readathon because I had never done one before, and everybody on BookTube talks about them, right? So we had gone out to dinner that Sunday night, I think like with a couple different friends, and they were all going downtown to go hear like a DJ afterwards or something. Look how bad my hair looks. And I was starting BookTubeathon, and Alex was so excited for me. Like, I had bought like 3 different kinds of coffee, like cold brew coffees that were in the fridge, and I bought like some chocolates and different kinds of fruit. And oh my God, there's a deer right in the middle of the road. You guys, look, I have to show you this. Watch. Did you see that? It's my spirit animal. So beautiful. There's 2 of them. One was already across there already. So I had bought like all these treats, and I was so excited about this readathon. And we were at dinner, and like Alex was like, babe, tell him about the readathon. And I was like, no, I don't want to. And because they had like been talking about this DJ, and they're like, you should go out with us. And I had been so excited about that readathon until we went out to dinner and we started talking. And then I was like sitting there as they were talking about going out, and I was like, this is corny. Like, I'm in my 40s and I'm getting excited about this readathon, you know? Like, this is stupid. It's dumb. And I started second guessing myself. And it's, you know, very similar to back in the day when I would like lay an outfit out for school the next day. I was so excited, and I would spend an hour picking out this really cool, different outfit. And then I would wake up in the morning and be like, I'm not wearing that. I'm too embarrassed, you know? It was very similar to that. And I must have had some kind of like hurt look in my feeling, because Alex was like, tell him about it. It's really, it's cool what you're doing. And I was like, I don't know. I just got real embarrassed. But I told them about it, you know, and they're like, oh, that's really cool. You know, they were so supportive of me. And so we left, and Alex, you know, went downtown for like an hour to go out with them. And I started like my readathon. And I remember like sitting on the front porch, and I had all my books. And so the way that I do a readathon is I bring out all my books, but like, so if you're on Goodreads is like a social media app just for books. It's like Facebook, but for books. Although there's not like any of these, like, you don't post pictures, you don't post political statuses, you don't post any of that stuff. You just post stuff about books. Books you're reading, the progress you're making, review them, books you want to read, all kinds of stuff. I love it. It's one of my favorite social media apps. So, if you like to read, and it recommends books for you to read too. So, based on what you've read. So, if you like to read, you should go get on Goodreads, Goodreads. There's an app on your phone, and then follow me, because I accept everybody as a friend on there. And I think the link is on my channel, my BookTube channel, and all my channels. But anyway, so I always take like all 7 books, and have them sitting there, and then as soon as the readathon starts, like I have my coffee ready and everything, and as soon as the readathon starts, I like start programming them into my Goodreads. So those are the books that I'm currently reading, so I can, you know, like update my progress as I'm going. And it was like 5 minutes before the readathon, and I just sat there, and I had that feeling again. I was like, you're so corny. Like, why are you doing, like, why are you excited about this? Like, is your life that dull? And I don't know what happened, but like that readathon started 11:50. I mean, I literally was like looking at my phone like this. 11:59 turned to midnight. I got on Twitter. If you don't know, I also have a Peter Likes Books Twitter account. I do all my BookTube stuff on that. And I started it, and I was like reading this Twitter like sprint, and they had one like right at midnight, and it was like, okay, we're gonna read for 20 minutes, and then we're gonna like, you know, come back and like take a break, and everybody's gonna share, and then you like would respond to the tweet with like what treat you were eating while you were reading, or what snack you were having. And I started that readathon, and I mean to tell you, within 0 seconds, I just was in it to win it. I loved it. I loved everything about it. And I thought, you know what? And that was the moment that I really felt connected to BookTube, that I really felt like this is my tribe of people that get me and get my love of books and get how much I, you know, love books. I always read 6 books and listen to an audiobook. That's what I always do. And I felt so connected for the first time to so many people that loved the same things that I do. And that experience for me was so good because it really was like this paramount moment for me. And I'll never forget, like, Alex like called like 40 minutes later, and he's like, I'm on my way home. Are you having fun? And I was like, yes, I can't talk. I'm reading. And he was like, oh, I'm so happy for you. You're like, you love this. I'm so happy for you, you know? And that's one thing that, like, with Alex with his dancing and music, and me with my books reading and writing, like, it's so cool that we've always been able to be so supportive of the other person, you know, like, even though we don't love those things, and we find, you know, interest in what that person is doing through that. And he just couldn't wait to hear about it, you know. And I was so excited, but it was like such a paramount moment for me in my life, because it was this crossroads where I was like, I do not care anymore what people think about certain things in my life. If I enjoy them and I like to do them, as long as they're not hurting anybody and they're, you know, healthy, you know, pastimes. And I also don't really care what my perception of what people might think might be, because that's the problem a lot of times, is it's not what other people really think, because 99% of the time they're not thinking about me anyway, you know. It's really about my perception of what they're thinking about me, if that makes sense, you know. Oh, they're thinking I'm so stupid, I'm so corny, I'm so weird for doing this readathon. Nobody cares. And the people in my life that, you know, somebody just sent me this in a tweet the other day. You know, those that I think it might have been Roxanne. Those that matter don't mind, and those that mind don't matter. You know, the Dr. Seuss saying, and I love that. And it's the truth. You know, those people in my life that care about me really want me to be happy. You know, they want me to do things that are going to make me happy and make me excited and make me interested. And, you know, now it's funny, like Melissa and Jason, they constantly are asking about the YouTube stuff and the readathons, and, you know, and it's fun. It's really, really fun. It's to be part of that, to be part of something. And if you've never done a readathon before, I'll give you guys like a week's notice before you do it on here. You got to do it just once, okay? Even if you're not a big reader, get small books. Find small books, you know, and do small books, you know, middle grade books. It doesn't matter. It's just fun to be part of that, you know. And go follow Booktubeathon. She has a whole Twitter just dedicated to that. It's like usually the end of July, and it's just such a fun week. And very few people ever complete all 7 books. They just don't. You know, I mean, there's some people that read all 7 books. They do all the challenges. They do everything. They're perfectionists. They got A+ in high school. I did not. But it's just so fun. And it's so fun to be part of something. And, you know, no matter what that is in your life, you know, whether it's knitting or scrapbooking or reading or writing or, you know, some kind of athletics or working out or walking. And my mom was such a big walker, and she became friends with other walkers, you know, or like listening to music or dancing or playing music or whatever it is that you love in life. Find a tribe of people that love those same things. You know, a couple years ago, Melissa this was before she had any dogs. This was before anything. You know, we were sitting around one night, and she just was like, I just don't feel like, you know, besides you and like Aaron and this other friend, she's like, I just don't have that many good friends like that I do stuff with. And she's like, and even then, like when I go out, like, because Melissa doesn't drink, she's like, if I go out to the bars, she's like, you know, I'm out like on a Friday or a Saturday night, but like I feel like there are things I'd rather be doing. And I go, well, what would you rather be doing, sweetie? And she said, I don't know. She's like, I'm real interested in dog rescues and animal rescues, but I don't know how to get into that. And I said, just research it and look it up. And like a week later, she called me and she was like, I went to my very first meeting of this Helping Paws thing. And I was like, oh my God, I'm so happy for you. And she's like, yeah, she's like, all these girls invited me out to dinner, but like, I don't really know if I want to go. I don't really know any of them. And this is the kind of shit my mom used to do to me too. And I was like, Melissa, go. And she's like, I know, but we're all from completely different backgrounds and we don't. And I go, Melissa, go. I go, you might make a really great new friend. Well, now she's great friends with all of them. 80% of her time is spent at dog rescues, and she's president of the Indiana chapter. It's all you can't even sit at dinner with her because she's constantly like this on her phone, constantly. We were at dinner at Cheesecake Factory, and one of the dogs they were fostering got bit by another dog, and they had to take it to the emergency hospital, and Melissa was panicked. She like had to leave dinner to go do this, you know? And it's like to see one of your friends so excited by something that they love and they're so invested in it, like it's like they just come alive, you know? And I think that's something that we want for all the people in our lives, you know? This silly little Peter's Book Club idea that I started and said that I was gonna, you know, do V.C. Andrews books. God, I don't know why I picked V.C. Andrews. I threw it out a year ago. A lot of people kind of liked the idea, and I thought, well, I loved V.C. Andrews books back in the day when I read them, so let's read a couple of them again and see if I still love them, you know? And I cannot tell you how many people have tweeted me, snapped me, direct messaged me pictures of their V.C. Andrews collections of books, or the fact that they ordered my Sweet Audrina in the mail. And I'm like, this is so fun. Like, I am so excited about this, you know? So, you gotta start new stuff. You gotta be a part of something. You gotta try. You gotta live, you know? Life's short. Do the corny stuff. Do it. Do the corny stuff. It's what makes life fun, you know? So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to make a list of all the corny stuff I want to do this summer and really, really try to enjoy it, because it's what life's about, you know? Making that stuff fun, right? All right, you guys, listen. I'm going to get off here. I think I might be past like an hour at this point, so if I am, I hope you enjoyed that mini movie, that mini movie of myself. And I love you, and list in the comment section below if you guys have any suggestions for books that you'd like to see in my book club. It's more of a pop culture fun book club, but also like what are some things in the summer that you used to do or that you'd like to continue to do that you've done that are really, really fun. I love you guys, and I'll see you later. Bye.